welcome to Builderall Cheetah welcome to Cheetah Web Builder in the Builderall digital marketing platform. We're going to go ahead and jump right into screen share. And what today's lesson will teach you is a basic overview of the Cheetah website builder. I'm sorry, I got a little distracted by my screen. I didn't expect to see that screen. So we're going to jump right into Cheetah, and we're going to get a brief overview of what a website in Cheetah will look like as you build it. There are two options when you're building a website. You can work from a blank site or work from a template. And within working with templates, there are two options. You can build from a standard template, or you can work from a smart template. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. This is your Cheetah your Cheetah homepage. And what you find on your Cheetah homepage is sites that you have published. And if you don't have any published, you will just see a create new site box with a plus. And you should also have an unpublished area with a similar box. On this screen, you can do things like create categories for your websites, which is useful if you want to host websites for other people or build websites for other people. You can also choose how you're organizing your websites, whether you want to organize them alphabetically or whether you want to organize them by when you created them in the order that they were created. So if I were to click that, then the first website that would come up would be my business page, and then my digital marketing page would be the last thing that I created. And that is customizable. You can change that anytime you want. This is showing my websites, and if I were to click on mirror websites, you will see that I have no mirrors, but what mirror websites are where you give other people access to your site, for example, a virtual assistant. And so you create a mirror site and they can work within that to make changes to your site, and it will update on your site. So you can also create tag groups on your website. What I don't have, and I just have the defaults, but for example, if I wanted to create tags for people who were reaching out to my empowerment coaching business, I might have a tag that says empowerment. I might have a tag that says coaching. I might have a tag that says, maybe I have a different one for my debt free that says freedom or something like that. One thing to note about tags is that they should always be in all capital letters. And I'll talk about the importance of tags when we go into more detail about building a web page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come inside one of my pages and just open up a page for you to introduce you to what you'll see when you get on the inside so that you're not confused. And then I'm going to show you and I'll also show you all of the options. So actually, first, let me show you the options, and then I'll show you what you'll see when you get on the inside. What you'll do is you'll create new site, and you'll see here that you have a couple of options. You can work from a simple template, and we'll click on each of these just to show you what to see, or you can have a smart template. Now, a simple template is where you design the page. Perhaps there's a template, but you design the page and you add all of your own tags, and you choose what those are going to be based on what you feel is important on your page. If you choose smart templates, you will input some information, and we'll do this in the tutorial about how to build a web page, which is the next tutorial. We will actually dive into both of these options and show you how to build a web page. But if you choose smart templates, you will input some text, information about your website, a description of your website, of course, your website title, that type of thing. And then the algorithms in Builderall will determine what the priorities are and create and set some tags for you. And they will also create a template that incorporates the text that you already included, and then has other text boxes with an explanation of what you should include there. And we'll look at that more deeply in the next tutorial. As you know, I love Builderall's customer support and the responsiveness. And one of the things that I love about Builderall is that they really do make it possible for everyone to have the knowledge that they need to keep going with their project, even if tech support has a little bit of a wait. Usually there's not one, but people get busy. So there are tutorials here about how to build websites in Builderall. And if you are not in this site and you want to also access some of the tutorials, you can look on the Builderall YouTube page and access all the tutorials that way too. One of the nice things about Builderall is that they're constantly upgrading their software and their design, and they're very responsive to what the users are asking for in customer support chat. And so when the customer support techs hear stuff a number of times, then they say to the developers, hey, we're hearing this, and the developers respond. And that's a beautiful thing. Sometimes, though, what happens is that they make an adjustment and you're not quite sure what happened to that feature. And so this is a great way to just know what changes were made since the last time you started building a web page, because you may be looking for one thing and they've upgraded it and made it easier. One of the things about Builderall is anytime they've done an update, it always makes it better. There's not a lot of glitch in the system. And then, of course, there's this tab that will take you directly to some support, whether it be ticketed support or Builderall live chat support. So this is what the outside of these pages look like. On the inside of this, you can, if you choose this, what will happen then is that you will be given an opportunity to choose from a variety of different genres of web page. For example, if you are very, 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 very new to web design and you really have no idea what you should include in a web page, a smart template might be a better option for you. But let's just say that you know some stuff and you really are just motivated to do your own thing and to learn it from the ground up. That's me too. That's how I learned Builderall, is by just starting from a blank template. So if you choose blank, then what will happen is that you will get a completely blank website, and it will have absolutely no pictures or no text or anything on there. What it will have on there is a great job. Now drag a panel in, and it tells you the first step. And when we do the next tutorial, I'm going to show you all about the Builderall, the tour that Cheetah has in there for you to use the first time you get in. I'm going to show you about all of these templates. I'm going to talk to you about all of these legal pages and go into more detail. But you will have an opportunity to, I'm going to just pop back to the oh, I did not mean to go back that far back. So I think I can get there by doing, nope, here we are here. So I'm back where I wanted to be now. Sorry about the confusion. One thing I like about Builderall is that anytime you click on something, it opens a new tab, so you don't lose what you were already working on. And if you accidentally make a mistake and click on the wrong tab, you can always just look here in your top menu bar and click on the last page you were on to get to where you want to be, unless you click the back button, and then you'll go back to where you were, right? So with that said, you can choose different categories of templates. You can choose a direct marketing if you're reaching out to someone and you just want a template that has the right words in place and the right tags already set and so forth, or you'll set these tags, but the right perhaps the right pictures or the right color schemes and that type of thing. You can also choose to build an express site based on the using that template that I showed you before. You can choose to build a course page. My cat wants to participate in this webinar. I don't know if you hear him in the background, but if you can, that's Harvey Milkface, one of 5. You can also be building funnel pages because, as you'll learn soon, funnels are nothing but websites that direct people where you want them to go rather than giving them freedom of movement in a website. And then you can see as you scroll further down that there are different niches or different professions or profession niches that you might want to reach out to: business coaches, fitness people, fitness gurus, marketing agencies, that type of thing. So there are a variety of different choices if you choose a template. Okay. I will show you more about that in the next webinar. I just wanted you to know what to expect if you jump in to a page. So let's say we jump into a blank page. Let's just pretend. Then what will happen is you can preview it here, and what you'll see is just this. This is really all you get. Okay, just this is just what they call dummy text. I guess they actually took out the welcome panel, but this is what they call dummy text. This is what publishers use to hold text space to let you know to type something there. Okay. So if we were to come back to our template choices, see how I was just able to click on that tab? Nice feature about Builderall. I personally am a coach, is part of my life skills and part of my living my dream. And so I'm going to choose a course. That says course page. I'm going to choose a coach page. Okay. And I'm going to click on, I might get both of them now. Let's see. Here we go. One page coach. We can preview this. Now, you can, in a website, a website is a series of web pages. So this is the first page. And once you have chosen a website, you can always go back and add pages. And everything on here is while it's a template, everything on here is 100% customizable. I'm not going to go into detail about that today, but I just want to let you know that everything all the way down to the background color is customizable just by clicking. I lied. Some of this stuff is customizable. Look, y'all, all of this is customizable. I'm not an editor. I'm sorry, I just had a cranial flatulation. All of this is customizable just by click and drag. I'm just not able to do it in this preview screen, but you can customize everything. If I were to choose perhaps a barbershop page, it would look like this. Okay, so you can see that your page will be determined by the niche you choose, if that makes sense to you. And these are just some of the other pages that are already built into that site, or some of the other panels that are available for you to use within that site. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about panels and some of that terminology in the next tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come back here to our options screen, and I'm going to go back one screen so that I can come to the smart templates and show you what you'll expect to see in that. With the smart template, it asks you a lot of questions, and this template is incredibly beneficial for those of you using Builderall who have never built a web page before, who have a really good idea, but you're not sure how to get it to other people. You're not sure what the right verbiage is. Perhaps you've tried to build a web page before in another platform, or you've used a free platform, but you didn't have this kind of an intuitive template. It may have been your word choice, it may have been your color scheme, it could have been a lot of things, but it may have been things like your tags and your keywords and how you optimized your web page for search engines. And that's actually more often what people struggle with, and how people don't get seen is that they don't optimize their page correctly. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about that right now, because that's going to be in a separate webinar. We'll touch on it in the website building webinar, and we'll go into greater detail in another tutorial. But for the purposes of this tutorial, what you'll do is you'll just insert information this into these fields. For example, if my pre-headline for my business is, are you struggling to achieve your goals? Well, this is actually one that I used to build a site. So do you want to grow organic produce in a limited space? And the name of my business, the subheadline, all of this information I included in this template. And then I did a description, and it was a very quick description for the purposes of the webinar that I was teaching. The nice thing about it is that once I have created the site, it will remain, I can always go back and publish and edit it. So, and it will update as soon as I click publish. And then if you look in here, you'll see that there are tags that they are incorporating because they feel like they're based on what my description was. So I can come back down here and choose some tags. They will have some tags. What it does here is it tells me, what this does is it tells me what I should be including. So if you were to go into that first web page that we showed you, that first template, these advanced tags will not say, it'll just say tag 1, tag 2. It will not say incorporate this, include that, so on and so forth. So what I'll do in here is I will actually, the system doesn't determine the tags itself. I misspoke about that earlier. I apologize. But what it does is it tells us what we should be including on our website. So the phone number that you're going to use that I'll use for Tower Gardens, for the website that I want them to respond to if they have any questions, different whatever social media I have related to my Tower Gardens, so on and so forth. Okay. And then what will happen, and you can see I didn't put any of that information in there yet, but in the next tutorial I will be doing that. It's part of that's why I stopped, and I wanted to include it in the tutorial. So then what it does too is it allows you to put these bullet points are good features about your product. So if you take the time to just fill all of this out on the front end and you just include all of this information, and we'll do this in the next webinar so that you can see what I'm talking about, this will create for you a ready-made web page that you can publish in no time at all. And I'm doing this for a business of mine that I run another franchise in called Tower Gardens, which is a vertical aeroponic growing system. But this is really useful for people who are using Cheetah to market Cheetah, but maybe you don't know quite how to go about the process of marketing Cheetah. We'll build a Cheetah website in the Smart Template too in a different webinar. So this is what the templates look like and how you can expect to what you can expect to see once you get into a website. Now we looked at the template before, and now what we would do is we would click on one of these, any of these features, elements is what Builderall calls them. I slipped my mind for a minute. Any of these elements, and we can change them within the web page. It does tell you put your logo, put your slogan, whatever other information you want to put. And when you get to the menu, if you don't like this style of menu, you actually have customization privileges. So you can do whatever you want with your page. So that is the overview of the Cheetah drag and drop website builder templates. And what I want to do is go into one of my pages and show you a little bit about how to begin to edit pages and kind of show you, we won't edit anything, but I want to show you what to expect to see. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come into one of my pages, and or one of my sites, and I'm just going to add a page. And for the purposes of this, I am not going to add any tags or any of that, because really what I want is for you to see that in full in the next webinar. I don't want to go too far down all the millions of rabbit holes I could go into with Builderall. So you see that you have a turbo option with this page too, similar to the smart template for your website. We can come in here and you will choose one of these templates, and then you will add some information, and that template will create the website for you. Okay. If I were to just, I'm not going to save it. I'm not going to do anything because I don't want to use that one right now. What I want to do is come in here, and what you will do is, I think I do actually have to add some information to get to the next page and show you what I want you to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just call this, I'm going to call this Art Studio, because I have that as one of my pages, and I'm just going to, for the purposes of this training, copy and paste that text. And later what I will do is I will go back and expand the description, and I may do that in a tutorial, and I may just do that in my own time. I'm not sure. And then what I can do here is I could put in my keywords and my SEO optimization tools, my meta tags, and so forth. Just information that will help me get recognized in search engines. I'm not going to do that right at this moment because that's part of the next webinar, but I am going to save this information. And it's telling me I need to add something else. Oh, I have to call it something, so I'm going to call it Art Studio. Okay, that's the title of the page, and I'm going to call it Carla L. Warnock cannot type.com. And I am going to save that. And then what happens is I've got this page on my home screen now, on my debt-free home screen, and I can come in and edit the page. Now I'm going to talk to you about everything that's on this page right now, and talk to you about all of the things included in your website in the next webinar. But for these purposes, I just wanted to take a moment to show you what you will see when you sign into when you first open a web page. So here you see a little blurb that says add a panel to start building. And the way that you add things in Builderall is that you come over here to this menu, and you can see that there's an add, a settings, and a personal. You also see, if you look down the screen about halfway and on the right side, there is a dialog box in a floating screen that takes you on a tour of Builderall. And so you can, or of Cheetah, I'm sorry, of the Cheetah web page builder. And so you can definitely go all the way through the tutorial if you want to. It comes up, I think, every single time, and you have to choose not to every single time. So it's kind of nice. If you click off, it won't go away forever, but if you want it, it's there. So what you would do is you would click and you would choose what you wanted to add. If you wanted to add a panel, and a panel is the base layer of your web page, and you see all of these options for panels. Okay, now I'm not going to go into great detail about that here, because I just want you to see where to find things in case you want to poke around before you watch the next video. Because if you're anything like me, then once you get going on something, you don't want to let it go. The other thing that you can add is elements. Okay, and elements are the things that make your page pretty and make your page, well, even your panels make your page pretty, but it's the things that allow you to interact with your customers. It gives you an opportunity to present text, to engage them interactively, to post photos, to post galleries, to post videos, to have items for sale, to book your services, and so forth. And you can just scroll down this list of elements and choose what you want. Now, all of these boxes are really just doorways into more stuff. Okay, that's true for panels in general and for elements. And I will go into more detail later, like I said, but a lot of these are very self-explanatory about what you will find inside, and the way that you use them is what you're going to learn in further tutorials. But if you have some digital marketing knowledge, and if you're pretty intuitive and you can figure such things out, then you can click on these and use them. And the thing is with Builderall, if you click on something and you insert it in your page and you end up disliking it and you don't want to use it, then you can very easily just get rid of that entire item and you never have to see it again. Okay, so it's very easy to get it on the page and get it off the page. And I didn't show you how I did that because that's not what this tutorial is, but I just want to let you know that it's pretty easy to configure your page and to figure out what it is that um, each of the different tabs means. Um, there are times when maybe there's only one or two options in a particular tab, but sometimes there's dozens and dozens of options. And so you can just click within the option group, this rotation banner. Once you put this on your page, it can move. If your client, if you want to, you can move it around and put it at an angle if you prefer. So you would just click what you want and use it. The other thing that you see is the settings, and this is where you set the settings within your, this is one of the ways that you can set the settings within your panels and elements. I'll talk more about that in the next tutorial. And the personal elements and panels are things that you save for from items that you've built on one of your pages and you're like, wow, I really like that and I want to use that across the board for brand consistency or for brand recognition or so forth. You can save an element or a panel and use it in any of your websites that you want to use. And I say websites, not web pages, because this everything that is in your personals panel will be available no matter which site you're on, and they are organized within the same um, the same categories that they're organized in the web developer. And as you can see, there's several that I don't have on here, but I have text, a menu bar, a box, a social bar, an image, and a buttons and timers. And if I click on one of those, then it'll list the things that I have within those categories, and I can scroll down and use those in any of my pages. Also, you'll notice on this page that you have some stuff going on along the top here, and we're going to move from left to right. This is your home page. This will take you to your Cheetah homepage, or I'm sorry, your website homepage. Okay, you will get a message. Do you want to save and exit? I would always say save. This tab right here that looks like a desktop, it represents what your web page will look like on a desktop, and you can whatever you're doing in the editor is what you can expect to see on a desktop or a laptop. But of course, not everybody works on desktops and laptops anymore. So if you move slightly to the right, you'll go over the picture of a tablet, and this is what your web page will look like on a tablet. We're going to go into more detail later, but once again, if you're jumping in, you're going to want to be able to know what you're looking at. And I wanted you to have an idea in case you jump in and try to do it on your own before you see a tutorial. So what you what you see on the tablet is also what you will see on the mobile device. And you can, within the mobile device, adjust where your panels are and what they look like to a degree. And within the menu bar over here, when you put an element in, if it is customizable on mobile, you will have that option. You'll see it in there, and we'll talk about that in the next tutorial. Moving slightly to the right, you'll see this drop-down menu, and it tells me that I'm working on my Art Studio page in this website, and that the other page in the website is my home page. If I were in some of my other sites, I have 15 pages in some of my other sites. And so the list might be a lot longer. But this just kind of reminds you what you're doing, right? And lets you know what page, especially if you're working on a lot of websites for a lot of different projects, which is definitely me. I'm not a web developer by profession, but I have a lot of activities and products and interests that I'm trying to get online and trying to share with other people. And so I am building a lot of web pages. It's part of the reason I love Builderall, is that I have an unlimited amount of web pages. This this will show me the background. I'm sorry, if I move all the way to the right, not all the way to the right, but just past the center of the page and to the third panel of the menu, you can see that I can set my page background color here. So if I just want to work on this page and I don't want to necessarily do a panel, or I want to have a base layer and my panels are going to be different colors, but I want my base layer to be something, I can do that here on this menu. Is a drop down menu that just allows me to do my settings for the page. It allows me to move things around the page and so forth. And it allows me to choose when I put images on the page, when I put an image, if I put images on the page, whether I allow, if people scroll over them, if the page moves together, or if items move separately on the page when people scroll. I can also change the image. So if I wanted, for example, my background image to be my business logo or something like that, I could make it that. I'll show you how to do all of that in the next tutorial. Now, what's really cool is that these two features weren't always in Builderall, and they've added them just because people found it cumbersome sometimes to have to go back into the panel and set their base layer, when really all they want is a simple page. And so you can also edit a lot of your page from right here. You can choose, this is all fonts, and you can choose, for example, if you wanted to, instead of having to set your font for each single box, you could choose the font that would be used throughout your page, and you don't have to customize that every time you go into a text box. Okay, we'll talk more about that later in the next tutorial. And we'll talk about what all of these different font options are and where they can be used and why they're valuable. Another feature, the next feature over, I'm going to click on that and hide that box. I'm going to show you this Gridlines box. And it looks kind of like a comb if you're looking at it. And it is, you'll see once I clicked on it, when I clicked on it again, I made it disappear. But once I click on it, I set a ruler at the top of my screen. And if I had items on my page, another ruler would appear vertically on my screen. And what it does is, if I want to make sure that something is aligned, I can click this, when I have items on my page, I can click this line and click it here, and it will allow me to make sure that my items are lined up. And we'll see that a little bit more, definitely more in detail, a lot more in detail, actually functioning when we build the page. And this eyeball right here is for you to hide items or unhide items. Perhaps you build an item onto your page and you really love it, and for example, maybe you have got a Labor Day sale planned, and you're like, wow, I really love this graphic and I really love the way it looks, but now the Labor Day sale is over, so I'm just going to hide that element, and I'm going to unhide my Halloween promotion that I'm going to put in that same spot. Okay, I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in the next webinar. And then moving across, I'm going to hide that eyeball. I'm going to close this. If you were to click on the tutorials, you can see that you have a list of different topics, learning about overall setting your site settings, how to add a new page, editing your mobile device page, looking at the editor in general, giving an overview, which is kind of what this is right now, or what the next webinar will be, talking about headers and footers and why they're valuable to your page, everything. Okay, so you can see all the tutorials that you will ever need to continue work on your project. And let's say that you click on headers and footers, which is important, you want to have those on your page. Then what happens is you will be redirected to the knowledge base, the Builderall knowledge base, a video about the headers and footers in Cheetah. And so it's very easy for you to continue with your project, even if you don't feel like coming back and linking to this video, as informative as it is. Maybe you want to just stay right where you are. And did you notice that Cheetah opens it in a new window? So I can watch the video and then go back to my editor, and whichever one I was in. Wow, I got so much going on here. No, that's not it either. Yeah, wherever I was. But anyway, in my editor, it opened it in a new one, and I can watch it and then go back and work. Okay, so this is an overview of the Cheetah drag and drop website builder, the templates, and what you will see when you get inside the templates. I hope that you found this informative, and I hope that you found the tour of the menu bars, both the editing menu bar and the builder menu bar at the top of the page, also valuable. And if you have any comments or if you have any questions, please do leave them in the comment section and I will respond to them. And I will also link to your next tutorial in the description for this tutorial, so that if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not reviewing this through my Builderall affiliation, then you will find it easy to follow along with the tutorials. I wish you all absolute prosperity in everything you do, and I look forward to seeing what you build with Builderall. Thank you so much for joining us for this presentation, and I look forward to seeing you in the next workshop.